Scorpio, I know you're exhausted, not the usual tiredness that a night's sleep cures, but the bone-deep fatigue that comes from fighting alone for too long. You've been carrying so much weight in silence that sometimes you wonder if your body will last another day, if your mind will endure another battle, if your heart will beat as strong as before. Right now, you're so close to giving up that you can feel the imaginary relief of finally letting go, of stopping fighting, of accepting the defeat that seems inevitable. But there's something you're not seeing. You're inches away from a transformation so powerful it will completely rewrite your reality. The line between giving up and winning has never been thinner. You woke up today with that feeling, didn't you? The crushing weight of having to keep going when every cell in your body screams for rest. The desire to simply close your eyes and not have to be strong again, not have to rebuild yourself again, not have to weather another storm you didn't ask to face. Scorpio, no one sees the battles you fight behind the scenes of your life. No one witnesses the nights where you fall apart and have to put yourself back together again before the sun rises. No one knows the price you pay for being who you are, too intense, too deep, feeling too much in a world that prefers superficiality. You've been strong for so long that you've forgotten what it's like not to have to be. You've carried so many burdens alone that you no longer remember how to ask for help. You've gone through so many deaths and rebirths that the process has become mechanical. You break, you rebuild, you keep going. But this time is different. This time you've reached the real limit, not those previous limits that you thought were the end, but discovered you had more strength in store. This time, it's the true limit, where your soul whispers that it can't go any longer, where your Scorpio essence, that titanic strength that has always sustained you, begins to tremble. And it's exactly here, at this point of absolute rupture, that the magic is about to happen. Not because you've found strength you didn't have, not because it suddenly became easier, but because you've finally reached the point where real transformation becomes possible. The point where you have nothing left to lose, where the masks have all fallen, where you're so raw and vulnerable that you can finally be touched by the force that's been trying to reach you all this time. Scorpio, do you know what your greatest power is? It's not your intensity, it's not your ability to see through people, it's not even your famous ability to rise from the ashes. Your greatest power is that you can go deeper into the darkness than any other sign and still find your way back. You're not afraid of the abyss because you've been there so many times that the dark has become familiar. And it's precisely this familiarity with rock bottom that gives you access to treasures others will never find, because they give up before they get that deep. But this time you've sunk deeper than ever before, and it's scary, I know. You're in a place where the light seems impossible, where the exit is nowhere to be seen, where each step seems to sink you deeper instead of lifting you up. And the temptation to give up, to simply stop swimming and let the current carry you, has never been stronger. But what you don't see is that you've already hit rock bottom. There's nowhere left to go. The only direction now is up. The battles you fought haven't been fair. You fought against seemingly impossible circumstances, against people who didn't play by the same rules, against a universe that seemed to have turned against you. You've tried to stay standing while the ground crumbled. You've tried to breathe while the water rose. You've tried to believe while every piece of evidence suggested you should give up. And no one gave you medals for it. No one recognized how heroic you've been simply for continuing to exist when existence became unbearable. For Scorpios born between October 23rd and November 2nd, the battle has been primarily internal, against their own shadows, against destructive patterns they recognize but can't break, against a version of themselves they know needs to die but won't let go. For those born between November 3rd and 12th, the struggle has been against external circumstances that have tested every aspect of their strength: financial losses, relationship betrayals, forced changes that dismantled the life they knew. And for Scorpios born November 13th to 22nd, the struggle has been against the feeling of being trapped, of having enormous potential but no way out, of feeling their own magnificence stifled by limitations that seem inescapable. But regardless of where you were born or what you've been struggling with, all Scorpios at this point share the same experience, the existential exhaustion of having given your all and still not seeing results. The frustration of having been true to your values, while others who don't have half your integrity thrive. The loneliness of no one truly understanding the depth of what you've been through and continue to go through. You've been thinking about giving up in specific ways, haven't you? Maybe it's giving up on believing that real love exists after so many disappointments. Maybe it's giving up on pursuing your dreams because the path seems impossible. Maybe it's giving up on trying to genuinely connect with people because vulnerability has only hurt you. Or maybe it's simply giving up on hoping things will get better, on believing you deserve happiness, on imagining that your life could be different than it has been. Scorpio, I know you're reading these words with tired eyes, maybe even with tears you don't want to admit are there. You're feeling the weight of it all, the exhaustion, the loneliness, the desire to simply stop, and you're wondering if anyone truly understands, if anyone truly knows what it's like to carry all this intensity without ever being able to truly rest. I understand. And most importantly, you're not alone in this silent battle. There are other Scorpios right now feeling the same weight, fighting the same invisible battles, questioning whether they can take one more step. And maybe this is the first time someone is telling you, it's okay to be tired. It's okay to admit it hurts. It's okay to acknowledge that you've reached your limit. Leave a comment now saying, I'm struggling in silence, but I choose to keep going. It's not just a comment, it's an act of courage. It's you acknowledging your struggle, honoring your pain, but also reaffirming your commitment to not giving up when you're so close to transformation. And when you write this, you're creating a chain of strength. Your courage inspires another Scorpio not to give up, who inspires another, who inspires another. Your strength, even when you think you have none left, still has the power to change lives. The change that's about to happen in your life won't come from the outside in. It won't be an external circumstance that suddenly improves, a person who appears to save you, or an opportunity that falls from the sky. The real transformation is happening within you right now, at this point of extreme exhaustion, where you're finally letting go of everything that's non-essential, everything that isn't truly yours, everything that's been holding you back from accessing your true power. Do you know what happens when a Scorpio is pushed to its absolute limit, when there's nowhere left to retreat, when all defenses have fallen, when vulnerability is total? That's when the Scorpio Phoenix can finally emerge. Not before, because as long as you still have something to cling to, some illusion of control, some residual comfort zone, total transformation cannot happen. You have to lose everything to gain everything, and you've lost a lot, haven't you? You've let go of people you thought were essential. You've let go of situations you thought defined you. They were who you were. You've abandoned beliefs that had sustained your reality for years. Each loss hurt, as if pieces of your soul were being ripped out. But what you didn't realize was that they weren't ripping out your soul. They were removing the shells that prevented your true soul from breathing. The version of you that's dying right now needs to die. It served you well, protected you when needed, but now it's become a prison. Your old ways of coping, your defense mechanisms, your survival strategies, all of what got you here can't take you any further. And that's why it's hurt so much to let go, because you're literally dying to an identity, and death always hurts, even when it's necessary. But on the other side of this, death lies a version of you so powerful, so authentic, so magnificent, that your current self can barely conceive, a version that no longer needs to fight the world because it has finally understood how to flow with it. A version that doesn't exhaust itself in battles because it has learned which fights are worth the energy and which aren't. a version that doesn't feel alone because it has finally found itself completely. Scorpio, the coming days and weeks will be crucial. You're in the eye of the storm, that moment of strange stillness between the destruction of the old and the construction of the new. And it's at this point that most people give up, because the stillness feels empty, because the absence of struggle feels like a lack of progress, because they can't sense the seismic movement happening deep within. But you have to keep going. You have to trust that something is reorganizing inside you, even when you can't see or feel it. You have to believe that you didn't go through all this for nothing, that every tear had a purpose, that every dark night was preparing you for a dawn that will blind you with its brightness. Change will begin with small things. You'll wake up one day and realize the pain you carried in your chest has eased a little. You'll have a conversation and be surprised by the clarity of your words, the firmness of your voice when before it had only trembled. You'll look in the mirror and see something different in your eyes, a new depth, a wisdom not there before, a power that comes from facing your darkest demons and surviving. And then, suddenly, everything will accelerate. Opportunities will start to appear, not because you're doing so much more, but because you're finally emanating a different frequency. People will respond to you differently, with more respect, more admiration, more recognition of your worth. Situations that were stuck will unlock, not because you forced them, but because you stopped resisting the natural flow of things. The coming transformation will touch every area of your life. Your relationships will change. Some will end naturally, because they no longer resonate with who you are becoming. Others will deepen in ways you've never experienced before. Your relationship with work and purpose will transform. You will discover the courage to pursue what truly matters instead of settling for what's safe but unfulfilling. Your connection with yourself will revolutionize. You will finally make peace with your shadows, integrate your contradictions, and embrace your full complexity. But all of this only happens if you don't give up now. If you keep breathing through the pain, if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when you can't see where you're going, if you keep trusting that there's a bigger plan at work, even when everything seems chaotic and meaningless. Scorpio, you've died and been reborn so many times that it should be easy at this point. But it's not, I know. Each rebirth is unique. Each death carries its own agony. And this one, seems the hardest of all because you're more aware of the process, more tired of the repetitions, more skeptical about whether it's really worth it. But let me tell you a secret. This is the last great death before your true life begins. The others were rehearsals. This is the ultimate transformation, the one that frees you from destructive cycles forever. You won't need to go through it again, because you'll emerge so completely transformed that the old patterns simply won't have a hold on them anymore. You've carried so much alone because your Scorpio nature doesn't allow others to easily see your vulnerabilities. You'd rather bleed internally than show weakness externally. You'd rather break down in private than ask for help in public. And this has made you incredibly strong, but also incredibly lonely. The new version of you that's emerging will understand that true strength includes selective vulnerability, that you can be intense and profound without carrying everything alone, that asking for help from the right people isn't weakness, it's wisdom, that you don't need to go through every battle in total isolation to prove your worth. In the coming days, you will find your tribe, those rare human beings who can accompany you through the depths without drowning, who understand your intensity without trying to diminish you, who honor your complexity without trying to simplify you. And when you find these people, you will realize you weren't meant to be alone. You were just waiting for connections worthy of the depth you offer. The exhaustion you feel now is a harbinger of transformation, not a sign that you've failed. It's like that extreme fatigue that comes before the deepest, most restful sleep. Your entire being is preparing for a complete reset, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And when you awaken from this process, you'll be a different person, inhabiting the same body. The battles you've fought have taught you something no one else in your life understands. You are indestructible in ways that transcend the physical. They can knock you down, break you, exhaust you, but they can never truly destroy you, because there's a core of power within you that is unshakable, that survives any storm, that remains intact even when everything around you turns to ash. And it's precisely this core that's about to take complete control of your life. All the shells have been removed, all the superficial layers have been burned away. What remains is pure Scorpio essence, potent, transformative, impossible to ignore. Scorpio, when you finally make it through this transformation, you'll look back and understand that every second of pain was worth it. You'll see how every person who hurt you was teaching you discernment, how every impossible situation was strengthening you, how every moment of solitude was preparing you for a connection with yourself so deep that nothing external could shake it. You're so close now. A few days, maybe a few weeks, separate you from the moment where everything changes. And the only thing that can stop you is giving up before you get there. It's letting go of the rope when you're inches from the top. It's stopping digging when you're just feet from the treasure. Don't do this to yourself. Don't carry this regret. Don't let years of struggle become empty because you didn't have the courage in the final steps. You've already invested so much. Your pain, your tears, your sleepless nights, your hopeless days. Don't throw it all away now. Keep going. Not because it's easy, not because you're confident, not because you see the path clearly. Keep going because you're a Scorpio. Keep going because giving up is simply not in your DNA. Keep going because deep down you absolutely know that you're about to change your life in ways that will justify every second of suffering you've endured. The life you've always wanted, the version of yourself you always knew was possible, the peace that seemed impossible to achieve, all of it awaits you on the other side of this final barrier. And the barrier isn't external, it's internal. It's the temptation to give up when victory is closer than you realize. Scorpio, I believe in you. The universe believes in you. Your deepest soul believes in you. Now you just need to believe in yourself enough to keep going for a few more days, a few more breaths, a few more steps into this darkness, because the light is coming. And when it does, it will be so intense, so transformative, so utterly worthy of everything you've been through, that you'll finally understand why it had to be this way. If these words touched your heart, if you recognized your own struggle in them, share them in the comments. No need to go into details. Just acknowledge that you're in the battle and choose to keep going. Your strength inspires other Scorpios not to give up too. Subscribe to the channel because your transformation deserves to be witnessed and supported. You'll need reminders on difficult days, encouragement when doubts arise, and guidance when you're unsure of the next step. Turn on notifications to receive content that will strengthen you through this final phase of transformation. Change is coming. Victory is near, and you, Scorpio warrior, are about to reclaim the life that has always been yours by right. Don't give up. Keep going. You're so close.